today we're here to talk about some fun wedding trends. So we were recently a part of the Big Fake Wedding when it came to Savannah. It was at the Tybee Wedding Chapel, and we were the dress. So you'll see some of the pictures in the video of the dress we chose for the show and the skirt that we had on it. So that's one of our favorite trends is the detachable trains and skirts. So you can have two looks in one. And then another really fun trend that we are also kind of highlighting is this whole idea of food trucks, because there were two food trucks there. Well, one is a bar truck. So Fete Chalet has like a little bar camper, which if you follow us on Instagram, you know I'm like obsessed with their little bar. And then the other one was the coffee one. We'll get you a name. 3 something. We'll get a name. Yay!
All right, so we are here talking about detachable trains with Roxy. Say hello.
Hi.
Okay, so we're gonna ask her a couple questions about this and just jump right into it. So first, want to take us through kind of each look, just briefly, then we'll go back.
This dress is pretty much a very fitted dress. It's got a nice little tulle overlay above the fitted, so it gives a little bit of more flowy feel on the bottom. But this dress actually comes with a full detachable train. So it's basically like wearing a veil, but not on your head. So it attaches right back here, right below your zipper.
Perfect.
And it's completely removable. So when you're done when you're done and ready to dance, then you can take your train off and have your gown bustled and you're ready to party.
Ready to go.
And it adds a little bit of a flair for the dramatics of the detachable train, which is why I like it. And this one comes with things that we like to call wings, but Nicole calls phalanges. And
Just doesn't make any sense at all.
they also add something really different.
Yeah.
And I think it's so cool because most typical brides would wear, something that's like a long train or a veil. And I think this is for my cool, like, boho vibe bride who wants to have a fun time. And then this one over here has a really dramatic train, especially when it's fully drawn out like that. And what I did with this one is actually a skirt that I added over another dress. And that way you can have a simple, more fitted dress, but then add a train to it for your ceremony. And then for the reception, you can change things up.
Okay, and what kind of bride would you think would opt for this option?
I think a bride who wants 2 looks for her wedding. So like if you want a very, pretty, flowy, formal look for your ceremony and then something more fitted or even more sexy for the reception, you should opt for this option because like for this one, you can't tell. It's actually a really short dress that's underneath it. So if I take the skirt off, you have your reception dress.
That's really cool.
And then if you put the skirt on, you have a really pretty, like a little bit more of a traditional flowy wedding dress.
All right, and does it cost more to opt for the detachable train?
It depends. Both of these 2 dresses over here, the one with the wings and then the one with the detached hem above the zipper, both come with those. So that's included in the price of the dress.
Okay.
For this one, you would end up paying for the dress and the skirt. So it just depends on the designer and what 2 dresses and skirts you want to mix and match.
Okay, so why would you say that you like this trend? What about it?
For me personally, I really like the option of having 2 looks for my wedding day. I would probably end up with going something like this and having either a shorter dress or a fitted dress underneath my skirt so that I'm not worried about a train for the whole night and like worried about having to add a bustle or anything like that. And then that way, I don't know, it's kind of cool in pictures and stuff. You're like, oh, I had an outfit change.
That's true. And do you think that it makes sense for brides to do this, typically? Like, do you see a lot of brides doing it? Or
Oh
do
yeah,
people...
definitely. I've had several brides, especially this past month, who have gotten like a very fitted dress and then added a skirt over it because that's going for more of the look that they want. And they really like the idea of having just not to worry about a hem and bustle and anything for the reception. They'll just take their skirt off.
Okay. So then, with that in mind, do you typically, I guess it would depend on the bride, but would you save money maybe going the skirt route if you had a lot of alterations to do?
Yeah, I think so. And I especially think that you'd save more money besides like getting 2 dresses too. So then you're like basically, it's like a one situation, but since you're not sewing that skirt onto your underneath dress, then you don't have to worry about trying to find a whole other dress, and you already know that you love the underneath dress.
Yeah, you have to love both looks, obviously. Yeah, and I feel like typically we find girls who come in and love a dress one way, but then we're like, oh, what if we put a skirt on it? And then they love it that way too.
So then they can have both the best of both worlds.
Yeah, that's true. All right, well, thank you, Roxy, for meeting with us and taking us through all these gowns. Okay, so what would you say the benefits of a food truck are? What are the positives of doing that?
What's the positives of having a food truck? Well, I think that it's like fun for guests to just like experience it. It's a little different from having like a more formal sit down meal. So kind of if you're going for a more casual vibe for your wedding, I think it's really fun. And I think like pricing can be a little bit more affordable sometimes. That's not saying it's super cheap, but it can be less than some other like catering options, because especially you have to consider you don't have as many like staff that have to man it.
Also, people get different options a lot of times with a food truck where they don't have a set meal they have to get. Like, you can pick from several different items, which is fun. And a lot of food trucks, it's not like you have dinner at 7 o'clock. It's, hey, I'm gonna go grab one taco, and then maybe in 30 minutes I'm gonna grab another snack, and then you kind of snack throughout the entire night, which is nice for guests. It's like as they get hungry, they get more food if they want.
Are there a lot of food truck options in this area?
Yes. There's like a Savannah food truck festival that happens a lot in Savannah. And there's like
grilled cheese food truck.
I feel like there's like 30 or 40 food trucks.
Cheesitos, which is what I had. That's tacos.
There's lots of dessert options. There's like
a
coffee
food truck, coffee
grilled
ones,
cheese. There's like a lot.
Shark tacos.
A lot of the restaurants in town have them as well, so they'll just do their restaurant options in a food truck version.
There's lots of options.
And obviously, typically they do like catering events.
Yeah. Most food trucks will do like weddings.
Yeah.
I think it's fun for them because it's a different scenery too.
And you have to think about if you're not doing a catering service, you would have to think about bringing plates and knives.
Well, there are some things to think about when you're doing food trucks, especially depending on your venue.
Like, where are they gonna park?
Some things that like we've had to figure out in the past is if the food truck, if their staff will also assist with pouring water for the guests, like other place settings, or who's going to serve them drinks while they're eating.
There's definitely like some logistics.
Yeah, sometimes the food truck will help. Otherwise, your bartending service might help, or you might need to ask the food truck service, hey, can we pay you extra, and you bring in some more staff to help with things like that.
Like, who's gonna bus tables?
Yes.
Do you need flatware, tableware, things like that? And I mean, oftentimes they'll bring like disposables, but if you don't necessarily want like just paper plates, then you might have to bring something else in. So there are some elements that can be a little more tricky, I guess, than just working with like a full service catering. But if you figure it out, like it's still
not
really
hard to
cool.
figure out.
It's
Yeah,
really fun. We love it. I love it.
Is there things to consider regarding like the vibe of your wedding? Like, if you wanted to get a food truck, do you think that it kind of pegs you as more of like boho and more laid back of a wedding, or
I
do you
think
think
it definitely can make things more casual if you're trying to have a casual wedding. But if you also want a
It's like
really
a backyard like wedding.
if you want a really nice
festival
wedding,
vibe.
I think you could still make it work.
Big Bon. Big Bon has a food truck. Oh my gosh, I could literally eat like 5 whole pizzas.
Something else to note is depending on your guest count, we do recommend getting multiple food trucks sometimes because if you have a guest count of like
Or a buffet.
200 or more, so you're gonna want to think, do I want 200 people standing in line waiting for their food? So you can either get another truck, or a lot of times they can put out like a buffet style next to the truck, which makes things faster.
And that's what we did. So the appetizers were out of the truck and people would order them, but then like for dinner we didn't want it to take forever, and so we had a buffet set out, which went really quickly. I'm so hungry right now.
Yeah, it's right before lunch. All right, is there anything else you guys can think of about food trucks? Things that people should... Why do you think people should get a food truck?
It's a great
so
experience.
fun.
Like it's just something different where your guests
Yeah.
get a unique experience, and like I said, people can just go snack all night long. Like they don't have to sit down, eat their dinner in not 20 minutes, in like 45 minutes or whatever it is. They
It's
can
just a really
go back and
fun,
snack
like
now.
it's just a really fun vibe. So like, if it fits you as a couple and you're more like laid back and whatever, then it's awesome.
Okay, thanks.
Fill in the blanks there, because I don't really know where I was going with that.
It's fun and cool.
Perfect.
Super cool. They're
Thanks.
trends we love, and if you are gonna have food trucks at your wedding, please hire us.
And you should also do detachable trains. Full circle.
Perfect. Thank you for taking the time.
Let's make us feel better.
Wow, that's
They're
beautiful.
really intelligent people.